What is up, everyone? It's your boy Young Citrus back with another Pokemon. Wow. I was almost gonna say Sun and Moon, but it's actually Sword and Shield because yesterday we had the reveal of Generation 8. The Pokemon community came out in full force yesterday with the announcement of these new games, and I was so incredibly hyped up seeing all the comments, tweets, and just general discussion about the new region announced, Galar. I still don't actually know how to say it.
The setting of these games is known as the Galar Region.
Thankfully, they said it for us, so now that that's cleared up, I wanted to talk today about the starter Pokemon of Galar. Scorbunny, Sobble, and Grookey. I almost forgot their names, but I've been trying to ingrain them in my brain ever since yesterday. I'm still so torn up about which one is my favorite, and we haven't even seen their evolutions or barely know anything about them. So today I wanted to take a more in-depth look at these starter Pokemon and why their designs look so unique. I'm not sure what words to use to describe them, but there's definitely something up with the designs of this Pokemon that make him stand out among their companions, or maybe even blend in. This is probably making no sense, so let me try to explain it in a way my fellow memers will understand. Today, we're doing something different. Today, we're doing starter review. So rather than rating or ranking these starter Pokemon, I want to take an in-depth look at each one of them and see what exactly makes them unique, and maybe even find out any clues as to what their evolutions might be, if they even have evolutions, because their designs are definitely unique. Let's just say some of the elements that make up these starters might have been borrowed from other Pokemon, so we're going to take a look at exactly what inspired these starter Pokemon and just learn a little bit more about them so that you guys can be more informed when these games come out in making your decision on a starter Pokemon, because everyone knows that's the most important decision of your life. So let's load up the trailer once again, and specifically the second half of the trailer, where of course we're introduced to the Galar starter Pokemon. And first up, of course, is Scorbunny, who has probably the weakest name, a combination of Scorch and Bunny. I've heard some people actually say it could be Score as well. We do know this region loves its football with those big old stadiums that we've already seen in the trailers, and this Pokemon has shown a love of running, literally setting the ground on fire when it runs. So even though the official name comes from Scorch, some people have speculated that it could be Score, and so its evolutions might have something to do with soccer, maybe kicking around balls of fire. That would actually be pretty sick. Wow, actually the first search on Twitter for a Scorbunny evolution, and we got Starboy1 here with a pretty awesome concept of what I was just describing, a sort of soccer player type evolution for Scorbunny here, would actually make a lot of sense since Scorbunny loves running and it already sets the ground ablaze, so maybe its feet could eventually conjure up balls of fire that it kicks around, and it would make for a pretty awesome signature move, I think. So I'm totally down for the idea of Scorbunny becoming this, except for the fact that that would probably make it a firefighting type. And you guys know the Pokemon community has a little something against firefighting. I mean, we have had quite a lot of them so far. I don't know if we'd really need another one, so that's the only reason I'm not super sold on the soccer bunny idea. But there's not really too many other clues. We just see Scorbunny run up this gear sort of thing, and it can even set that on fire, which is crazy because it's, you know, metal. Later on when he sets the grass on fire, you know, it seems normal, but a metal gear being set on fire, like, that must be some serious heat this bunny is packing on those feet. Another concept I saw and really enjoyed was actually this armored version of Scorbunny, and there's been some rumors that they're gonna introduce something like armored evolution into Pokemon. I'm not too sure on the validity of that, but I mean, it is Sword and Shield, so armor could kind of make sense. Regardless, if this was a regular final evolution for Scorbunny, I think it would actually be so awesome. It still fits with its legs, you know, being its main source of power, as it looks like they gain even more thickness. And it would probably make it into a fire and steel type, which is much better than a firefighting in my opinion. I mean, this could still be firefighting, but nobody wants that, Game Freak. Please don't do it. The concept of a robot battle bunny is so cool though, especially in this concept art, but it has proven to be fake. I can't really find the thread that proved it, but this is definitely a fan art here. So yeah, we're not going to be getting an armored battle bunny, as awesome as that sounds. Moving on, we've got Sobble, who is confirmed to actually be a firefighter. as he extinguishes Scorbunny's little flames there. And one really cool thing I don't see a lot of people talking about is the fact that Sobble can literally turn invisible in the water. I think in my original reaction, I thought that Grookey was going to be a chameleon, but it turns out Sobble here was a chameleon all along, as it can literally camouflage itself, at least while in the water. And we see when it comes out, it kind of briefly is halfway see-through, but that is a really cool ability and probably comes from the fact that it is literally a chameleon, so possibly its evolution could be a bigger lizard. I know some people have theorized that it could be a Loch Ness Monster type of inspired creature. Because of the Galar region being based on the UK, it would kind of make sense to have something like that, but I just don't see this little dude evolving into a Loch Ness Monster, you know? I'm really confused because this looks just like... Oh, it's not. Wow. Okay, so a lot of people are actually on the train that Scorbunny will actually become a soccer player, as another fan art here from L Dark Core shows off that. But also a really cool looking potential evolution for Sobble here, as it becomes a kind of flying Gliscor looking manta ray. I actually don't know what kind of creature it's based off of, but all I know is it looks pretty cool, and it kind of looks like it could be a water and ghost type, which would fit with Sobble, you know, being able to turn invisible. But that's probably more likely to do with his ability, which I'm hoping is actually something unique that does allow you to camouflage or something. I know there's literally a Pokemon ability called camouflage, but I don't remember what it does right now. I feel like it's not very good. Oh, it's actually a move? Man, I am so out of it. Camouflage changes the Pokemon's type to the corresponding of the battlefield. Yeah, I don't think they would give that over to Sobble, even though he does have camouflage built in, being a chameleon. I feel like that would be more part of his evolution line, so we'll just leave it at that for now. The main reason people have fallen in love with this little Pokemon, though, is of course its personality, as we see it here get so scared of Grookey, who's just kind of over there banging sticks and rocks together. Like, why are you so scared, dude? If we actually take a quick glance here at all of the artwork of the starter Pokemon, you'll notice they mostly look cheerful, you know, I mean, literally all of them are smiling, except for Sobble, who just has this look of complete worry. Like, I have never seen anything look this stressed before. Creature, human, animal, like, I feel bad for this little dude. I also love how he hits you with the, had to do it to him pose, you know? I'm not sure if that was intentional, probably not, but that's like his official artwork and everything makes him look exactly like that. And the way his face, man, it's just... Gotta hold back the tears, Munch, gotta... Now, of course, its name Sobble comes from sobbing, which is kind of like crying, and bubble, I believe, but its Japanese name, I think, is Meson, comes from meso meso, which also means sobbing, but combined with chameleon, proving that this little dude is actually a chameleon Pokemon. And I'm thinking that his evolution will look a lot more lizard-like than at least the concept arts we've seen so far, but I really don't have too many ideas as far as like how they could implement camouflaging into it, so maybe you guys have some. Now finally, we've got Grookey, the grass monkey, and a lot of people assume that literally that's what its name comes from, just grass and monkey, but let me blow your minds real quick. You probably know about this by now, but let me try to blow it, okay? Would you believe the first half actually comes from groove, as in like feeling the groove? Its Japanese name Sarunori comes from Saru, which means monkey, and Nori, which can mean excitement or rhythm, according to Bulbapedia. So this confirms that our little dude is actually the groove monkey. And if you paid close attention, you would have actually noticed all of this just from the reveal trailer. So I'm gonna play a clip here, and I want you guys to listen closely. That's right, he's keeping rhythm. He's tapping along to the rhythm in his head because this dude is literally the embodiment of music as a Pokemon. And here I thought the little stick in his head was just another rehash of a Farfetch / Komala concept, but no, it's actually a drumstick that he uses to, you know, play with rocks and stuff, just make some music. Like, tell me I wasn't the only kid that would just grab all the pots and pans in my grandma's house and just... Grookey basically is the Pokemon version of that. But for real though, Grookey is a music-based Pokemon, it seems like, so I think his evolution will be inspired in some way by that. And Starboy actually seems to have a similar idea, but instead of drumsticks, he believes that the sticks will become, wands? I have no idea what that's called. baton. It's a baton, so he has him holding the batons for conducting an orchestra, of course, which I think is a really cool concept, but I'm not too sure about the way he wears, you know, the leaves as a coat. I guess it would make sense if this became his evolution, similar to how Decidueye has, you know, feathers as a hoodie, which is a really cool design in my opinion. I actually really love this from Starboy, or Startboy. Just noticed Startboy also did a concept for a Sobble evolution, and although I'm not a huge fan of it, I think the theme of it actually makes a lot of sense, being theater, which I've heard a couple of people talk about as well. So basically the 3 starters evolutions would be based on jobs slash professions that are common in the UK, or that the UK is known for rather. So soccer slash football for Scorbunny, rock and roll slash drumming of course for Grookey, and that would mean that Sobble represents theatre, things like Shakespeare and other British writers. Listen, I can barely read these Pokemon games, okay? You're not gonna catch me on no Shakespeare. But it does fit as a theme since Sobble is a Pokemon kind of known for sadness. It could actually be that it evolves into something very tragic, like of course the tragedies written by the man himself, or just written for theater in general. So even though I don't really think this is what he'll end up looking like, I could see it being a bit like a Shakespearean look in the way that it evolves. Going back to Grookey though, here's a concept for his final evolution by Dark Core as well. We see that he has Grookey evolving into a hulking gorilla with a giant club, and it actually does remind me a little bit of Wukong. I've heard a couple of people saying that it could be based on that, and eventually his little stick could grow into a power pole type of thing. And I think that's a really cool concept as well, except for the fact that Infernape was already based off Wukong, so I don't know if they'd, you know, double down on that, especially with how people have already been comparing these designs to previous starter Pokemon. So Dark Core's rendition here is honestly the closest to what I think it'll end up looking like, except maybe instead of a giant tree tail, it'll grow its stick into drumsticks or bongo drums. Then it'll actually be Donkey Konga. Oh man, that would be so hilarious though, but I mean, I think it makes sense. We'll just have to wait and see. So I've made a little Photoshop document with all of the official starter artworks here, classified by type of course, and you'll notice that some of their parts look like they've been used somewhere before. Specifically with Scorbunny here, you'll see that his pose is like almost exactly the same as Chimchar, and his mouth specifically is pretty much a copy-paste from Chespin. I was about to say Chimchar again. It could be because they both have that one tooth. I mean, Chespin's looks a little bit more rounded to be fair, but like, it's way too similar. Even his eyes are pretty much the same as Torchic's, just with a little bit of red here. I mean, Trico kind of has a similar pose as well, with 1 foot raised, but at least it's his right foot. These two, like, straight up have the exact same pose, and for the last few generations, the Pokemon designs, at least I feel, have been very unique. Like, if you look at Snivy compared to all of the other grass Pokemon, I mean, it really stands out with a unique kind of body shape, and it's a literal banana. Like, nothing else looks similar to it. Same thing with Rowlet being so round, and an owl, you know, it's a very unique design. But when we get to Gen 8, we start seeing things that feel like we've seen before. Like, his head does remind me a lot of Chespin. I guess because of the colors too, you know, he's got a bit of orange in there, similar to Chespin's tail and nose, and the way his face is. But I mean, that's kind of how monkeys are, you know, so it makes sense. But even the twig on his head, it's like literally taken from Turtwig down here. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but maybe you see what I'm trying to get at. Going over to Sobble, you can see that him and Froakie are basically cousins, like exactly the same pose that they're both sitting in. It almost looks like Froakie was gonna go in for the handshake with Sobble, and then, yep, psych. I used to hate when people did that to me in middle school, man. Even Sobble's tail you can kind of compare to Squirtle over here. It's not exactly the same, but it is basically a swirl as well. And his little fin looks like it could have been taken over from Mudkip. I guess what I'm trying to get at is these new starter designs look less unique than I was expecting, and more like a mix and match of different parts that worked before, and it makes them look a little weird. Like, they still fit in with the Pokemon universe. I feel like if you looked at this, you know, you wouldn't really think twice about whether or not this little monkey fits in here, or, you know, this random bunny in the middle. Like, they do fit in with Pokemon, but when you compare them among the group of other starters, it just Dare I say we might be running out of ideas for Pokemon? This brings me to my final point, and it concerns the concept art that we see being leaked all the time, which is never real concept art, it's all Fakemon, but it could definitely be inspiring Pokemon in a way. And to understand what I'm trying to say, we're gonna have to take a look at the Fakemon concept art here, which is pretty much laid out how a real Game Freak concept art would be, but it is confirmed to be fake, except it's literally Scorbunny. So I'm gonna do a quick reverse image search on these concept arts and try to pinpoint exactly where they came from, because the resemblance is just way too strong. The fact that Grookey as well, the grass monkey, I mean, it doesn't look as close to it, but same concept? Like, there's definitely something fishy going on here. So let's do a reverse image search. We should be able to just drop that in there and wait for the magic to happen. All right, so we've got 5 results in over 34 billion images. Okay, I don't even know what this means, but somehow only 5 results were pulled up, and they're from some websites I don't even recognize. So should I actually click on this right now? Oh boy, Japanese forums. I'm so familiar with this. Thankfully, Google Translate is a thing, so hopefully this works. Nice. The reverse search engine should be able to pinpoint forums slash articles slash websites with the pictures. Oh, there we go. I know the wilderness. What? So this man just pops into this random Switch 3DS discussion and just posts this stuff and says, I know the wilderness. Okay, so obviously this is a Japanese mistranslation. I don't know what it could actually mean, like maybe I know the wild, the starters or something like that. But then people just kind of start talking about them and giving their opinions on these starters. This man did a breakdown of where this guy literally got all the parts to make the little platypus, but it's almost like he's trying to explain it as if it makes sense why this dude is made up of different Pokemon parts. Here we have someone talking about the Fire Bunny and how it could fit in the whole Chinese Zodiac theory that all fire Pokemon are actually animals from the Chinese Zodiac as well. And I mean, it did end up being a fire rabbit, so that didn't really tell us much about the origin of the pictures though. Just some random dude saying, I know the wilderness, and that was it. So let's go on to the next. Oh, hold up. Confirmed fake, and links to a Facebook post, which we will now investigate. Oh, good thing it's also in a foreign language, huh? There is a translate option though, so I just realized I'm logged into someone else's Facebook. 50 Shades of Heliolisk. What a name, man. I feel like I gotta get ready to read this. After a lot of laughter, I think the game can end. In short, I am the author of the leaks that have made such a sensation lately. I've been working on them for quite some time and got a helping hand from a Japanese friend of mine for the writings that have been so much discussed. I apologize to those who believed it and hope they were true, and I congratulate those who have not been convinced, but in general, the fact that it has this full range makes me realize that maybe I managed to create something really convincing. You don't say, bro. Good on this man, though. He is really good at making convincing looking concept art. Like, for the longest time, I believed most of this, and I'm now actually mostly curious what he means by the writings that have been discussed, because I feel like now he based these drawings on something. Maybe there actually were some leaks about the next games and he based these drawings on that, because how the heck do you predict a fire bunny and a grass monkey and almost a platypus? Like, if there's a platypus Pokemon somewhere in Gen 8, oh boy, this is gonna get even deeper than before. But at least the water starter didn't end up being it. So as much as I love Sobble, I feel like we kind of missed out on this one. Whoa, this man drew evolutions for them too. What? No way. Wow, that looks so awesome. Where's this Pokemon game at, man? So here we have a potential evolution for the fake Scorbunny, where it ends up being not a soccer player at all. I'm not sure about this evolution, but then the fake Grookey here, which just I don't even know what's going on there, man. But I guess that's it, guys. We kind of ran into a dead end here, but maybe one of you guys remember during the preseason of Gen 8 if there were any leaks that maybe people were discussing, because I know every once in a while some random dude that claims he works at Game Freak will hop into a forum and be like, alright guys, here's the scoop. Like I remember before Sun and Moon, there was a dude making very vague claims on 4chan, I think, but a lot of them ended up actually coming true. Like I think he predicted Z moves and a couple of other things. So maybe there was something similar to that for Gen 8, or maybe it was the same guy and the concepts have just been around for that long. I'm really not sure, but I don't think it would be the first time that Pokemon has taken inspiration for one of their designs from something else, because the truth is we're getting to almost 1,000 Pokemon now, and there's really only so many original ideas. So eventually we're gonna have to have a little bit of rehashing, I guess. To be honest, I don't think it's lazy design. I don't think they're copying anybody, but they are making these Pokemon more based off of the animation slash the personality they want to give them, rather than just pure looks. At the end of the day, we'll never know the full process of how we ended up with these guys, but what we do know is we've got them, and we've got to appreciate them for what they are, and personally, I actually really like them. Hopefully their evolutions as well. Keep in mind this is just the first stage, and they could become something entirely different by the end, so I don't know how to really end this video. I just wanted to start a discussion about the starter Pokemon and their designs, and maybe you guys can join along. Let me know what you think of them in the comments, and which one would you choose, for now at least, because we haven't seen their final evolutions. We don't know if these are even going to end up just being starter Pokemon. Like, what if they're fusions or something like that? I feel like if they ever did Pokemon fusions, that would be the end. That's when a lot of people would hop off the series, but I mean, they have to introduce something new, right? Generation 6 brought us Mega Evolution, Gen 7 brought us Z moves. What is Gen 8 about to be bringing us? Is it armor evolutions? Is it fusions? Is it something that Digimon hasn't done already? Hopefully. And with that, we will end this starter review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and stay tuned for more Gen 8 discussion videos. The next one I'll do, I think, is a breakdown of the Galar Region map, trying to find out all the little details in there and maybe the real life landmarks they might be based off, or just how we'll navigate through the map in these games and see just how linear or non-linear these games might be. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one. Yo, scratch everything I just said in that video. I just found the real inspiration for the Gen 8 starter design. You guys will not believe, you guys will not believe this, but oh my gosh. Oh, confirmed, Pokemon stole the designs. That's it, guys. Case closed. Boom. See you next time.